One of the very first podcast episodes I ever recorded was with the now president of Samsung Electronics in Poland, Connor Pearce. And in that episode, Connor shared with us all one of the very first pieces of advice he received early on in his career. And here's that piece of advice. Think like a man of action, but act like a man of thought. And in today's episode of the Leader's Kitbag, I want to very briefly unpack that piece of advice and give you a few simple ways you can take it away and use it to help you be an even better leader. Hey, I'm Ben Morton. I'm a leadership trainer, executive coach, and keynote speaker. And if you or your organisation needs help or support in any of those areas, then I'd love to hear from you. You can get in touch via the contact form on my website or just send me an email to chat@ben-morton.com. I look forward to hearing from you very soon. So, to today's episode of the Leader's Kitbag, and back to that piece of advice that Connor Pearce received early on in his career. Think like a man of action and act like a man of thought. First of all, here's why I believe it's such a great piece of advice. Some leaders are very much doers. Others are thinkers. The best, well, as you'd expect, they blend both. They act with courage, conviction. They act boldly, but from a place of thoughtfulness, of thoroughness, and purpose. So, that being the case, as I said, I want to share with you 3 simple ideas that you can go away and start experimenting with right now to help you be an even better leader. Number 1 is about finding your balance. The internal thinkers amongst us may sometimes need to push ourselves to speak or act sooner. And on the flip side, the external thinkers amongst us may sometimes need to challenge ourselves to pause and reflect before speaking, acting, or making decisions. The second idea I have for you is to not confuse reactions with responses. Reactions tend to be immediate, often automatic, unconscious even, and therefore not always that well considered. Responses, on the other hand, are more deliberate. They are slower, but not necessarily slow, and therefore tend to be a little more considered. We gain respect and credibility not through speed, but through clarity and the outcomes we help other people deliver. And the third idea I have for you to go away and play around with, is to anchor your decisions in quiet conviction. Some of the best leaders I've seen make really bold, powerful decisions, but from a place of thoughtfulness and careful consideration. In fact, one of the questions that great leaders often ask themselves before they make a decision is, when does this decision need to be made? They make the most of the time they have available to them without taking so much time that they put other people in their organisation under pressure. So, there you have it. 3 ways you can go away and start experimenting with that really powerful piece of advice. So perhaps it's not a question of, am I saying enough, but rather, am I thinking enough before I act? And am I acting on what I think? That's it for this episode of the Leader's Kitbag. Remember, if you need support, particularly if you're looking for a speaker for your next conference or event, then I'd love to hear from you. As always, look after yourself, look after those you've got the privilege and responsibility to lead. And until next time, folks, lead on.